Installation. Preparation. It is important to be well prepared before installing the VCS. Upon entering the meeting room, verify that the following three elements are present. Display device, in order of preference, TV, projector, monitor, power supply, active internet connection. Packaging contents. This section covers the installation of the Yealink video conferencing system. Here are the package contents. First, we have the VCC18, an 18x optical PTZ camera, the VCP40 video conferencing phone, which includes microphone arrays with a 360-degree voice pickup, the VC400 or the VC120, full HD codec, and the VCR10 remote control. Next, the cables. There is one DVI cable for the camera, one VGA cable for your PC, an HDMI cable for the display device. The VC400 includes two HDMI cables, one audio cable for external audio equipment in the case of the VC400, and two standard Ethernet cables, one for VCP40 and one for the network. We also provide a power adapter, two AAA batteries for the remote control, cable ties, a quick start guide, and camera wall mount accessories. In addition, we offer the CPE80 as an optional expansion microphone. Connections. Now let's get started with the setup. The DVI cable connects the camera and the codec. One end goes into the camera and the other end goes into the codec. Next, we attach the HDMI cable to the codec DisplayPort and to the display device. Yealink VCS supports dual screen setups. If you only have one display device, please connect the HDMI cable to the Display1 port on the back of the codec. Then use an Ethernet cable to connect the VCS phone and the codec. The other Ethernet cable connects the codec to your router. If you want to share content with your meeting counterparts, use the VGA cable to connect your PC to the codec. Finally, plug in the power adapter. Your VCS is now installed. Bracket and camera installation. The camera bracket can be installed in hanging mode or wall mount mode. Hanging mode can be used only when the thickness of your monitor is between 35 and 120 millimeters. Step 1. Fix the camera to the bracket and fasten the silver screw into the camera base. Step 2. Remove the cover from the two pieces of tape on the bracket. Step 3. Install the bracket on the monitor. Make sure that the bracket's edge snugly fits the monitor. Step 4. Adjust the bracket until it is flush with the back of the monitor. Press the tape firmly to make sure the bracket is affixed. Wall mount mode uses the following equipment: 4 expansion bolts, 4 T4 by 30 screws, and 2 M3 by 8 screws. Step 1. Measure and mark the distance on the wall for the 4 expansion bolts. The horizontal distance between the bolt holes is 50 millimeters, and the vertical distance is 100 millimeters. Drill 4 holes with a diameter of 6 millimeters and a depth of 30 millimeters. Then insert the expansion bolts. Step 2. Move the 2 pre-positioned screws on the bracket to the wall mount position. Then, use 2 M3x8 screws to attach the bracket. Step 3. Use 4 T4x30 screws to fix the bracket to the wall. Step 4. Thread the DVI cable through the bracket. Step 5. Attach the camera with the silver screw. Boot up the unit using the power button. Choose the appropriate TV video source which connects to the VCS codec. If the screen displays incomplete after booting up, you can use the TV remote control to adjust the proportions to 1:1. If the display device is a projector or a monitor, the proportion cannot be changed. Equipment position. The display device, camera, codec, and VCS phone should ideally be on the central axis of the room. Position the camera as close as possible to the TV. Avoid pointing the camera directly at a window. AV integration. Yealink VCS can integrate with any AV equipment on the market. The VCS has an HDMI port that can connect to your monitor, projector, or DLP. With a USB RS323 adapter or network, the Yealink VCS can work with control systems. With line-in and line-out ports, the VCS can work with desktop microphones and with speaker systems. In addition, the VCS can be installed with the display cart. Connection test. After booting up, please confirm that the VCS obtained has obtained a working IP address, which is displayed on the top right corner of the screen. If the screen shows network disconnect, please check the connection between the network cable and the port. If it shows 255.255.255.255, the VCS has not obtained a functional IP address. Please set a static IP address for the device. To set a static IP address, first press the red key on the remote control to enter the menu. Then use the navigation keys and switch to advanced. The default password is 0000. Choose LAN configuration. Disable DHCP and configure the static IP address as shown below. The IP address, subnet mask, and gateway are mandatory. If DNS is used, you need to fill in the DNS server in the appropriate field. After finishing the configuration, press Save to preserve this setting. If the VCS successfully obtains an IP address, you can try to call the Yealink demo room for a test. To place a test call via the remote control, first press the yellow key, then use the navigation keys to select the directory menu. Step 3. Use the navigation keys to select Yealink Demo 1, then press the green phone key to initiate the call. If the call cannot be completed successfully, please go to the Diagnose menu to troubleshoot the problem. First, press the red key to enter the menu, Then use the navigation keys to select the Diagnose menu and select Ping. Step 3. Ping 8.8.8.8. If a ping succeeds, it indicates that the related ports are closed on the local side, which can be found in the Firewall Port Mapping menu. Please open them. If the ping fails, it indicates that the local network does not have access to the Internet. Please ask your IT administrator for help. FAQ. These are the frequently asked questions about installation parts. Question 1. Is the Yealink DVI camera cable a standard DVI cable? A. No. The DVI cable is specially designed for Yealink. It supports power, video, data, and control in one cable. You can't use a standard DVI cable to connect the VCS codec and camera. Question 2. If I need a longer camera cable, what should I do? A. The Yealink VCS packet contains a 3-meter DVI cable by default. We also provide a 10-meter cable option. Question 3. Can Yealink VCS support connections to 2 cameras? A. No, the Yealink VCS only supports 1 camera. Question 4. Can Yealink VCS connect to a third-party camera? Answer. No, the Yealink VCS codec only works with a Yealink camera. A third-party camera won't work with a Yealink VCS. Question 5. My PC only has HDMI output. How can I connect to the Yealink VCS for content sharing? How can I connect to the Yealink VCS for content sharing? Answer. You can use an HDMI VGA adapter to connect the PC HDMI interface and the Yealink VCS codec VGA interface. Question 6. Does Yealink have a wireless content sharing solution? Answer. Yealink plans to launch PC software for wireless content sharing in late 2015. Please pay attention to our product release newsletter or visit our website to stay updated. Question 7. Can the Yealink VCS connect with a Crestron AMX control system? Answer. This is not possible with the current version of the VCS. However, new products slated for release in late 2015 will support this feature using a USB RS-232 adapter to connect with a Crestron or AMX control system. Question 8. The screen shows the video from the camera but does not display a menu or status bar on the screen. What should I do? Answer. Please ensure that the HDMI cable is connected to the DisplayOne port of the codec. Configure. Yealink VCS allows configuration via web or via screen. All configuration options are available via web while screen supports select configuration options. This video is made with an emphasis on web configuration. To configure via screen, press the red button on the remote control to enter the menu. To configure via web, open the browser and input the IP address of VCS in the address bar. Then click Enter. Input the username and password. Default username, admin. Password, 0000. Click Login to enter. Status and account. In Status, you can see detailed information about Yealink VCS including system, network, account, camera, audio, and VCS phone. H323 account. In the web interface, click Account. You can see H323, SIP, and Codec tab on the left. It's where you configure the account. Let's start with H323. First, you need to enable the H323 account. If you disable the H323 account, H323 protocol is forbidden from initiating or receiving a call. Fill in the name and extension. Pay attention to the gatekeeper ID. Leave it empty. If the gatekeeper IP address is set to auto, it will obtain the gatekeeper IP address automatically. If it can't obtain the gatekeeper IP address automatically, or you want to register to a specific gatekeeper, You can set it to manual and fill in the gatekeeper IP address and port in the below field. In addition, if this account has gatekeeper authentication, enable it and fill in the username and password. H460 is about the transversal function which is required by the gatekeeper. So, if the gatekeeper needs it active, you need to enable this feature. If you enable the H323 tunneling, signaling H225 and H245 will use the same port. But it needs the counterpart to support this feature as well. H235 encryption will encrypt the RTP message to make the communication safer. H235 encryption has three options. Disabled means don't use H235 in H323 calls. Enable means the unit will negotiate with the remote site whether to use H235 for media encryption in H323 calls. Compulsory means the unit will use H235 for media encryption in H323 calls. SIP account. Like H323, SIP active should be enabled. Then fill in the register name, username, password, server host, and port. If the account has an outbound proxy server, enable it and fill in the IP address and port. Transport has three options, UDP, TCP, and TLS, which are the protocols that the unit uses when it registers in the server. TLS is the encrypted one. Server expires is how often the unit will send the re-register packet to the server after registering successfully. The default time is 3,600 seconds. SRTP is used to encrypt RTP packet. Disabled means don't use the SRTP in SIP calls. Enabled means the unit will negotiate with the remote site whether to use SRTP for media encryption in SIP calls. If you choose compulsory, it needs the other side to choose SRTP as well. Otherwise, the call can't be set up. DTMF type is the mode of sending DTMF by pressing the numbers key during a call, including in-band, RFC 2833, and out-band. You can choose any one of them according to the server. The codec can also be set. We support these codecs by default. You can click the up and down arrows to adjust the priority. The top codec has the highest priority. If you want to disable a particular codec, move it to the left column and click Confirm to save it. These settings can also be configured via remote control. The path is Menu Advanced. The default password is 0000. Network. In LAN configuration, we can set static IP address recommended or obtain the IP address via DHCP. Since you may choose the IP address to dial, IP address is better kept the same. For static IP, fill in the IP address, subnet mask, gateway, primary DNS, and secondary DNS. Hostname is the name that displays on the server side. Scroll down to see the port mapping form. If you need to do port mapping, you can refer to this form. You can also find this form on the screen. NAT Firewall. NAT refers to Network Address Translation. If VCS is called, and in the intranet network, it needs the gateway to support ALG function. If the gateway doesn't support ALG function, configure this item so that VCS can communicate with the extranet. Otherwise, the call cannot be completed. This item has three options. Disabled means that the system won't use the NAT feature. Auto means that the system will obtain the NAT public address from the specific Yealink server. If the unit can't obtain the NAT public IP address, You can choose Manual and configure the NAT public address manually. The default setting is disabled. You can customize the reserved port for UDP and TCP. Intelligent Firewall Transversal makes the system easy to deploy and seamless to use. When head office is outside the LAN and a branch office is inside the LAN, the branch office can place a call to head office without port mapping by enabling this feature, enabled by default. In Advanced, you can change the settings for different advanced network-related features. If using LLDP, you need to enable it first so you can set the packet interval in the below field. The range is 1 to 3,600 seconds. You can ask the IT administrator for the VLAN ID and configure it manually. When LLDP and VLAN are configured at the same time, LLDP has the higher priority for the VLAN ID. Additionally, the system supports VLAN discovery via DHCP. When you enable the DHCP VLAN, the system will enable the DHCP option for a valid VLAN ID. The predefined option 132 is used to supply the VLAN ID by default. You can customize the DHCP option used to request the VLAN ID. For QoS, you can set a different priority for audio, video, and data. MTU, Maximum Transmission Unit, refers to the size of the largest packet that a network protocol can transmit. The value of Ethernet MTU is 1500. You can set related items of SNMP, Web Server 802.1x, and VPN. For more information, please consult your IT administrator. For speed, you can choose different network speeds to determine speed limitation. Diagnose has two commands, ping and traceroute. Ping is used for inspecting the external network if reachable. Traceroute can determine where a network problem is located. These settings can also be configured via remote control. The path is menu advanced. The default password is 0000. General information. In Settings, General, the site name can be changed. You can name the site your company name or a meeting room name, for example. General information like automatic sleep time and VCP40S. Backlight time can also be configured here. The default settings for these two items are always on. Here you can adjust the current time. If you enable Hide IP Address, the IP address will not be displayed on the top right corner of the screen. Relog off time refers to the inactive time in minutes before the system logs the web user out of the interface automatically. E.g., if you set the relog off time to 5 minutes, you must log in to the web after 5 minutes of no operation. The key tone can be set to enabled or disabled. Date and time. Time and date are displayed on the idle screen of the display device and VCP40 phone. Time and date are synced automatically from the NTP server by default. The default NTP server is cn.pool.ntp.org, and DHCP time is disabled by default. If you want VCS to obtain the time via DHCP, you may enable it. The time zone is set to +8 Beijing by default, and can be changed to your own time zone. Synchronism is the time interval for checking the local unit's time with the server. For daylight savings time, DST, there are 3 options: automatic, enabled, and disabled. When set to automatic, it will adjust daylight savings time automatically. If set to enabled, you can customize fixed type, start date, and end date. Then set to disabled, the unit will not apply daylight savings time. For time type, there are two options: SNTP, required time from server, and manual time, which lets you manually set the time. Here you can also customize time and date format. In camera, you can customize the camera according to the environment of the meeting room. In configuration, you can access configuration file, PCAP trace, and Scilog. More information found in Diagnose. In Upgrade, you can view the firmware and hardware version, reset to factory, reboot and upgrade the firmware via web page. In Tones, you can customize or select special tone sets, varies by country, to indicate different system conditions. The default tones used are the US tone sets. Custom items include ringback, busy, call waiting, and auto answer. These settings can also be configured via remote control. The path is menu basic. Call features. DND, Do Not Disturb. DND allows system to automatically reject all incoming calls. Auto Answer allows system to answer incoming calls automatically. The Auto Answer Mute feature turns off the microphone when an incoming call is answered automatically, only when the Auto Answer feature is enabled. The Auto Answer Multi-Way feature allows the system to answer new incoming calls automatically during an active call. Call Match. This feature allows the system to search entries automatically from the search source list based on the entered string, and displays results on the pre-dialed screen. The system maintains a local call history, which contains call information such as remote party identification, time and date, and call duration. To save call history, you must first enable the History Record feature. SIP and H323 protocols are supported for incoming and outgoing calls. The default call type is auto, and the system will preferentially use the H323 protocol to place calls. If the counterpart doesn't respond, the system will switch to the SIP protocol for placing calls. You can specify the desired protocol for the system to place calls. The system will automatically detect the available bandwidth for calls by default. You can specify the uplink and downlink bandwidths to avoid VCS occupying too much bandwidth. Uplink bandwidth is the maximum transmitting bandwidth, and downlink bandwidth is the maximum receiving bandwidth. The configurable bandwidths on the system are from 256 kb per second to 6000 kb per second. The default is set to auto. Abnormal call answering. This feature is for SIP calls and has three options. Disabled, the unit will receive any SIP incoming calls. Account answer. The unit will verify the safety of the incoming call from an SIP account. IP call answer. The unit will verify the safety of incoming calls from a direct IP address. If verified return is not passed, the unit will ignore this incoming call. Safe mode call. This is a safe mode for H323 calls and has two options. Disabled, the unit will receive any H323 incoming calls. Enable, the unit will verify the information of the incoming call. If the incoming call doesn't pass verification, the unit will ignore the call. Ringback timeout. After placing a call, the local side will hear a ringback. If the ringback time is over the value you set, the unit will hang up automatically. Auto-refuse timeout. If you don't answer the phone over the value you set, the unit will hang up automatically. These settings can also be configured via remote control. The path is Menu Call Features. Directory, History, LDAP Settings. The local directory can be found here as well as all stored contacts. You can add or delete contacts individually or import or export an XML or CSV file of many contacts. Placing the cursor over an item will display the contact's details, and then you can edit or delete the contact or even make a video or voice call. On the History page, you can find all the history, incoming calls, outgoing calls, and missed calls, which include remote party identification, time and date, and call duration. Here you can delete a specified history or all of the history. If you have an LDAP directory, you can configure it in this page. Must first be enabled. In Settings, you can choose the search source in dialing. The left column is disabled and right column is enabled. For enabled items, the higher items have higher priority. Click Confirm to save. These settings can also be configured via remote control. The path is Call Directory. Directory. The local directory can be found here as well as all stored contacts. You can add or delete contacts individually or import or export an XML or CSV file of many contacts. Placing the cursor over an item will display the contact's details, and then you can edit or delete the contact or even make a video or voice call. On the History page, you can find all the history, incoming calls, outgoing calls, and missed calls, which include remote party identification, time and date, and call duration. Here you can delete a specified history or all of the history. If you have an LDAP directory, you can configure it in this page. Must first be enabled. In Settings, you can choose the search source in dialing. The left column is disabled and right column is enabled. For enabled items, the higher items have higher priority. Click Confirm to save. These settings can also be configured via remote control. The path is Call Directory. Security. In License, you can upload the license to upgrade the demo unit to a standard unit. In Security, you can reset the password. First, you need to fill in the old password. The default password is 0000. Then fill in the new password twice. Click Confirm to save. In Trusted Certs, VCS has 31 CA certificates by default. If you enable Only Accept Trusted Certificates, VCS will set up the connection with the server which has requested SSL certification. If you enable the Common Name Validation for safety, the common name in SSL certificate must be the name with the server. For CA certificates, you can choose to use default certificates, custom certificates, or all certificates. To use custom certificates, please upload your CA certificates first. In Server Certs, VCS has webserver.pem by default. For device certificates, you can choose to use default certificates or custom certificates. You can also upload other server certificates. Use 1. Dial, Direct Input, Directory, History, VCS Phone, Web. To make a call, Yealink VCS offers 5 ways to dial. To input, you can choose an IP address, e.g. 117.28.251.50, a domain name, e.g. xm1.yealink.com, or a URI, e.g. dawson@yealink.com. For number input, press the number key on the remote control. For letter input, when in idle mode, press the yellow key to enter the call interface. Next, press the red key to open the keyboard. Then use the navigation keys to choose the desired letters. Now, let's look at each option in closer detail. 1.1. Remote Control. In idle mode, press the number key on the remote control and the screen will display the pressed number. Next, press the green phone key or the OK key to establish a call. Press the red phone key to enter the call. 1.2. Directory. You can use the call function in the menu bar on the bottom of the screen. When in idle mode, press the yellow key on the remote control to enter the call interface. Press and switch to the directory. Pick a desired contact from the directory and then press the OK key or the green phone key to initiate the call. (1.3) History. The history feature functions in the same manner as the directory. When in the call interface, use the navigation keys in the remote control and switch to the history. You can see the history list in both the history interface and the dial interface. The default call type is a video call. You can press the yellow key again to switch between call types, voice call or video call. Choose the call type that you prefer and then press the OK key or the green phone key to initiate the call. (1.4) VCS phone. Use the keypad on the VCS phone to dial a call. The input phone number will be shown on the LCD. Press Send or OK to place a call. (1.5) Web. First, open the browser and input the IP address of the VCS in the address bar. Next, click Enter. You will be required to input the username and password. The default username and password are admin and 0000. Click Login to enter. In the home interface, you can input the number and choose between video or voice call to initiate your call. (2) Multipoint. Add remove party. Input DTMF. The Yealink VC400 can support a multi-point conference call with up to 4 video calls and a voice call. The Yealink VC120 can support both a video call and a voice call in a conference call. You can use the remote control, the VCS phone, or the web to place multiple calls. 2.1 Remote Control. Place a call to the first party. When the first party answers the call, press the red More key to open the More window. Use the navigation keys to scroll to New Call and press OK. Enter the number of the second party and press OK key or the green phone key. When the second party answers the call, a 3-way conference call is established. To add more parties, Repeat the above steps. For DTMF, dual tone multi-frequency, input, you can choose DTMF and input numbers in the More window. If you want to remove a party, press the red key in the More window and choose Remove. Next, pick the party you want to remove and press the OK key. 2.2 VCS phone. Enter the number using the keypad of the VCS phone to place the first call. To add another party, press the New Call soft key and enter the number of the second party. Then press the Send key. When the second party answers the call, a three-way conference call is established. To add more parties, simply repeat the above steps. For DTMF input, dial the numbers directly via the VCS phone's keypad. Unlike the remote control, you can only remove all the parties at the same time using the VCS phone. 2.3 Web. First, log into the web user interface. Click Home and enter the number of the first party in the Enter Number field. Then, click Video Call or Voice Call. When the first party answers the call is established. If you want to add another party to the call, simply repeat the operation. If you want to remove a party, place your mouse on the desired party and click the red phone icon. Alternatively, you can click the Hang Up All to remove all parties. You cannot input DTMF via the web, only via remote control or the VCS phone. Layout and second screen. Yealink VCS offers support for multiple video layout modes to meet your needs and to ensure a pleasant meeting experience. For example, if you are in a three-way video conference, you can press the yellow layout key in the remote control to choose the most suitable layout. The left option displays one large video image and two small video images. The middle option maximizes a single video image. The right option even displays all the parties. The Yealink VCS also supports dual screens. When your VCS is connected to two screens, you can choose to display either party in the second screen. Simply press the red More key and choose Focus Display To select the video you want. Content sharing, remote control, VCS phone. If you are in a call and wish to share content, such as a presentation, with the other party, make sure your PC is connected with the VCS codec. Use a VGA cable to connect the PC with the codec. The screen will display both the video and the PC screen. You can also press the video source key on the remote control to choose either the camera and the PC, the camera or the PC. For example, if you choose camera and PC, the other side will see both the video and the PC screen. If you choose PC only, the other side will see only the PC screen. When you want to end content sharing, simply press the presentation key on the VCS phone directly or use the remote control to end the connection. 4. Record and playback, video and picture. The Yealink VCS has a video recording function and a screenshot function. Before you record video or grab a screenshot, plug a USB disk into the VCS codec. The screen will prompt that the USB device available. Then press the star key on the remote control to begin recording. Press it again to end the recording. If you need to grab a screenshot, just press the snapshot key. You can check the recorded video and screenshot through the VCS. Then press the red menu key and choose the record. Next, select the video or picture to check it. Also, you can check the video or picture on your PC using your USB disk. 5. Camera control, near and far, present angle. In the idle mode, you can control the direction of the camera by operating the navigation keys. You can move the camera up or down and left or right. You can also zoom in or zoom out simply by pressing the zoom in or zoom out key. If you long press a navigation key, such as left key, the camera will move 90 degrees in the left direction. For the VCS's preset function, press the blue key to enter into the preset menu. Then follow the tips. Adjust the camera to the position you want. Long press a number, e.g. the number 1, to save this position. When you move the camera to a different position, press the blue key to enter the preset mode and enter the number 1 key to quickly return the camera to your preset position. While in a call, you can also control the remote camera if your meeting counterparts have enabled the far control near camera function of their devices. Simply press the more red key on the remote control and then choose near far camera. Then select the remote camera and press the OK key. A green camera icon in the top right corner means that the selected camera is under your control. In the same way that you operate your local camera, press the navigation keys to move the other camera up and down or left and right. To shift back to the local camera, just repeat the above steps. Network deployment. The VCS can be deployed in various ways to suit different needs, typically those of a head office or a branch office. Head offices often need to both make and receive calls, so equipment must be publicly available. Some branch offices need equipment that can both make and receive calls, while other equipment may only need to be able to make calls. In the former case, the equipment is required to be publicly available. For the latter case, simply plug and play using Yealink's intelligent firewall transversal technology. No extra network settings are necessary. So how exactly to be publicly available? Well, there are two ways. The first way is to give the VCS a static public IP address, which means you must deploy the VCS in a public network environment. The second way is to deploy the VCS in a private network environment and establish a static private IP address for the VCS. Then set up port forwarding for the firewall. In this way, it is both publicly available and safer. Here are the appropriate settings for port mapping to allow equipment to make and receive calls. When deploy the VCS in a private network environment, we need to configure some settings to be publicly available and to receive calls. First, you must configure your port mapping unless the VCS has a public IP address. If the gateway supports ALG and the firewall has done the port mapping, this is enough. In addition, ALG includes H323, ALG, and SIP ALG. Most gateway products support H323 ALG, but do not support SIP ALG. If the gateway doesn't support ALG, you should enable the NAT feature on the VCS. For more information, please refer to the configuration training section. If you disable both ALG and NAT, you can't answer incoming calls. Enabling all three settings may cause conflicts and is unstable. We recommend the first two configuration options highlighted in the above chart. In network deployments, everyone wants to know how much bandwidth the VCS needs to complete a high-quality call. For video, 1080p requires at least 1 Mbps, while 720p requires 512 kbps. Audio-only connections require 24 kbps to 64 kbps. Because there is significant traffic for H323, SIP, and RTCP, the total required bandwidth equals video minimum bandwidth multiplied by 1.3. Simultaneous 1080p video and 1080p content require 2.6 Mbps. For 1080p video, we recommend at least 2 Mbps for both uplink and downlink. For more information about video quality and bandwidth requirements, please see the above charts. To ensure the network stability of the VCS, we recommend users enable the VCS's quality of service QoS feature in low bandwidth settings. The Yealink VCS will intelligently allocate bandwidth, prioritizing audio and data over video. This form lists the default audio, video, and data values. You can change these settings via the web user interface or the remote control. Via the web user interface, Network, Advanced, QoS. Via remote control, Menu, Advanced, Default Password 0000, Advanced Network, DiffServe QoS. Diagnose. Speaker microphone troubleshooting. In idle mode, press the red button to bring up the menu screen. Using the navigation buttons, select the Diagnose menu and choose Audio Diagnose. Then speak directly into the microphone to verify that it is working properly. Ping and traceroute. Using the ping function, you can determine if the unit is successfully able to connect to an outside network or to another unit locally. Attempt to ping the IP address 8.8.8.8, Google's DNS. A successful ping is clear indication that the unit is connecting to an outside network. To verify that the unit is able to connect to other units locally, input the IP address of the unit you are attempting to connect to and press Start. The screen will now display what % of packet loss there is between the two units. If you see that the packet loss is 0%, then the unit is connected properly to the other unit. If the packet loss is greater than 0%, then there is a problem in the network environment. A packet loss of 100% means that the unit is not able to connect at all with the other unit. In this case, the network issue may be caused by either unit. Refer to the FAQ for more information. A network problem can be identified by using traceroute. Input the IP address of the unit to which you want to connect and press Start. From here you can see the whole hops of the router and determine which hop's time is the longest or which displays the star signs continuously. This is the source of the problem. Call statistics and web. During the call, you can press the red key into More window and choose Call Statistics to check related call parameters. Total bandwidth, including reviewing and sending, are visible here. For video, you can see current value of resolution, codec, bandwidth, and total packet loss. Whatever protocol is currently in use will also be displayed. If the video or audio packet loss is more than 0%, then the current network is not optimal and it will degrade the quality of the video. You can also use the web to do some basic operations to help you locate the issue remotely. In Home Interface, place a call to the other unit. Check on the picture of the unit, which will refresh every 5 minutes, and save it by pressing Screenshot. Call statistics can also be checked via web. Camera control and input selection can be adjusted from this menu as well. How to capture information. If you are having difficulty which you cannot solve by consulting the FAQ, please collect the following information so that we may better assist you. Level 9 syslog, PCAP trace, configuration file, along with any other relevant details, and send them to the Yealink technical support team. To capture syslog and configuration file, you need to first log in to the web, then click Settings and choose Configuration. To export configuration, click Export to export the config.bin file. If you want the configuration file to contain the plain text password, first check the export passwords. To export the system log, verify that the system log level is set at 9. If it's not, please set it to 9. Then continue. The system log can be exported from system or from local. To save more system log, choose Server. The local memory is limited and can only save the recent syslog. Earlier syslog may be cleared. For server, fill in the server IP address in the server name. For PCAP, catch the PCAP trace via web. Click Start. Reproduce the issue and click Stop. Then click Export and Save. The web's memory is limited, and if the reproduction lasts too long, the earlier trace will be cleared, leaving you with incomplete information. To prevent this, use USB disk to catch the PCAP trace. Create a new folder named Yealink.debug in the USB disk. Then insert the USB disk into the codec. The USB icon will show on the screen. Press the hashtag key on the remote control to start the trace. You can see debug mode on the screen. Then reproduce the issue. Press hashtag key again to finish capturing the trace. The screen will show debug mode off. Then the PCAP trace will be saved in the Yealink.debug folder of the USB disk.